One of Jeremy Corbyn's most vociferous supporters, who has pushed for the deselection of MPs critical of the Labour leader, is set to face his own battle for reselection following anger at his attacks on trade unions, HuffPost UK has learned. The Labour MP for Derby North, Chris Williamson, will definitely be challenged under new party rules that have made it easier to oust sitting MPs, several sources have said. Williamson is expected to face a trigger ballot in his marginal Westminster constituency as local activists take advantage of changes that mean just a third of union branches are needed to force a contest. One fellow MP said he will get a taste of his own medicine after spending months campaigning for some members of the Parliamentary Labour Party (PLP) to be effectively booted out. The left-wing backbencher is popular among many members of the grassroots Momentum organisation, not least for his Democracy Roadshow campaign for automatic reselection of every Labour MP, but what was seen as Williamson's move to cut trade union members out of the process sparked a furious backlash, with both Unite and the GMB warning that it was an attempt to cleave Labour from its historic roots. The issue flared up at the party's conference last month, with some Momentum supporters shouting, "Shame on the unions," after they blocked more radical attempts to open up every parliamentary seat to automatic selection. "He's definitely going to be triggered," a source at one of the big trade union told HuffPost UK. No doubt about it, a key figure in another major union, who preferred not to be named, confirmed Williamson would be targeted, as members wanted an MP who was less divisive and who was fully committed to the union link. Williamson won Derby North back from the Tories in 2017, having lost the seat in 2015. He has a majority of just 2,000 votes. Even non-union party members locally are understood to be unhappy that Williamson hasn't been focusing enough on Derby, where Labour lost control of the council to the Conservatives this year, rather than touring the country. "He doesn't realise how unpopular he is," one said. Another source said that Williamson's decision to hold his roadshow in the seats of some strongly union-backed MPs was another factor. If the unions get a strong enough local candidate, he could well lose the party chair of neighbouring Derby South, where veteran MP Margaret Beckett is the MP, this summer tweeted disapproval of Williamson's national roadshow. Best thing about Chris Williamson's tour is he is out of Derby. https://t.co/wtg3j1vu. Kevin Hepworth at Kevin Hepworth 2, August 27, 2018. Under Labour's previous trigger ballot rules, more than 50% of local branches including unions were needed to spark a challenge to a sitting MP. The new rules, which came into effect last month, mean that it takes just 33% of local union branches or member branches to force a reselection race. If there are 3 union branches in a constituency, only one of them is needed to set the process in train. The party's ruling National Executive Committee (NEC) will authorize the trigger ballot process for all local constituency parties at some point between now and the next general election. Richard Oliver, regional political officer for the GMB, let rip at Williamson last month, declaring he and his followers were hell-bent on a cynical attempt to exclude trade union branches and their members from local party democracy. The open selection campaign, which Chris has been peddling on his Democracy Roadshow, is a direct attack on the Labour trade union link and must be resisted. Whilst Derby City Council was slipping into Tory control, Chris has been turning up in Labour-held seats across the country to campaign for this. The GMB official added the campaign was straight from the Tory playbook of trying to reduce trade union influence by claiming to champion democracy and calling into question the union's democratic credentials. Williamson himself clashed with Unite General Secretary Len McCluskey at the annual conference in Liverpool. The union boss gave the MP a piece of his mind over a Morning Star newspaper article that claimed Unite had abandoned its own previous support for mandatory reselection. Trade unions are more determined than ever to put on a common front in MP selections, to allow each of them to back their own candidates and preferred seats. Williamson told HuffPost UK that he was confident he would win a trigger ballot if one was activated. "It's up to members. If they want to select someone else, that's up to them. They will make the right decision." I would hope that I would have the confidence of members, and if you haven't, it's appropriate that someone else takes over. Obviously, it wouldn't be pleasant on an individual basis, but that's life, he said. The reason I don't like the trigger ballot system is it's a negative process. It implies you have a problem with the sitting member. I think most trade union members would agree that greater democracy is a positive thing, but you know, Tosh, when you peer behind the headlines for a moment, you realize that there's absolutely nothing to be scared of, nothing at all.